We are now in Brexit reality.
Yeah.
And we have been waiting a long time for this to happen. You were saying, excuse me.
No, I think that there's a lot of people who will be sad about it tonight. But I mean, you have to understand that when the referendum was called, it was called because reforms weren't granted to David Cameron. Reforms he was looking for in terms of monetary union, in terms of fiscal policies, in terms of sovereignty. Those weren't given, and therefore it went to the people. And I think people voted to leave the European Union because they felt disconnected from the institutions, and that's why they felt they wanted to leave.
I'm just curious to know, are you, ladies and gentlemen, are you happy or sad that Brexit has just happened? Could you give me an idea? You're sad, are you? You think it's a bad news story? But that's probably not surprised. We know how we would have voted, so I'm not trying to have a go because but I just wanted to get a sense of where we are.
And I understand
you understand that, don't you?
Yeah,
and there's no aggression or unpleasantness about it. It's just they're just reflecting, I suppose, the mood. What's this going? You came in one of the first things you said you wanted to kind of almost reach the hand out across the border as neighbours. Yeah. What kind of neighbours are we now that we're past 11 o'clock?
Well, the same as we were before 11 o'clock, Ryan, with respect.
Notionally, yes, but practically not at all.
Well, it is because, of course, the communities that live along the borders will still be the communities that live along the border. They'll still have those relationships that happened. I mean, I, for example, in Fermanagh, work very closely with a group in County Leitrim. We're trying to get a greenway in place from Sligo to Enniskillen. We think that that's a very good thing to do because that'll provide a cycle route and tourism.
A lot of people will disagree and say, no, everything has changed utterly.
No, it hasn't.
You now have this border down the Irish Sea. That's in now, in a sense. And we also have, the sense that Northern Ireland is leaving Brexit in a way that's different to the rest of the UK.
Yeah, we are, and that's something that we have to deal with in the next 11 months. And Michelle O'Neill and I were in Cardiff this week talking to our counterparts from Scotland and from Wales and from the Westminster government about what that would actually mean.
It's a weakening of the union, isn't it?
No, it's not a weakening of the union because we're still in the United Kingdom's customs code. I think that was the difference between, if you like, Theresa May's deal and Boris Johnson's deal. But there are those regulatory differences, and that's where the issue will come.
But the fact that it's a border you didn't want must rankle a bit for you.
Well, of course it rankles. I didn't want a border put in place, and this is something that I must deal with because what we didn't want to see was borders developed north-south, but we certainly didn't want them east-west, which is actually internal inside our own nation, which is wrong as well.
And do you accept that as a failure for you or the DUP, the way that all worked out?
I think there's much work to do in relation to how we deal with that now. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, says that emphatically there won't be any checks, and then I listened to Michel Barnier, who says something very, very different. So there's a lot of work to do on all of that.
Do you believe Boris Johnson anymore?
Well, he's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, so we have to work with him because he has a mandate.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe Boris Johnson anymore?
Well, do you know what? I believe myself and I have faith in myself, so we will have to make our own judgment as to what he does.
There's a sense that, and I'm going to put it to you straight, do you think that you were shafted by Boris Johnson?
Well, I wouldn't use that terminology, Ryan, but
you pick a word and I will agree.
I do think it was hugely disappointing that he decided to go down that particular route. But look, we have to deal with that now. I mean, we didn't ask for that, but we have to deal with that, and that's what we want to do.